strong people of the best country in the world. I would like to begin this address by congratulating the staff of the Security Service of Ukraine on my own behalf and on your behalf, all our citizens of Ukraine. Today is their holiday. 30 years ago, on March 25th, the Security Service of our state was founded. The Security Service has come a long way, and we all know that. But we also know that during the 8 years of the war in Donbass and during these 30 days of full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, many members of the Security Service have shown themselves to be the best, the most heroic. They proved to be principled, courageous, and able to inflict losses on the enemy that he did not expect. This is exactly what Ukraine needs now. I am grateful to all our heroes from the Security Service of Ukraine. I am grateful to everyone in the service who, during the 30 years of our common history, thwarted the plans of the enemy and worked in the interests of the Ukrainian people only. I congratulate you on the holiday. I respect everyone. And we will always remember all the employees of the service who died, unfortunately, but for Ukraine, performing tasks to counter Russian aggression. During this month of hostilities, 77 employees of the Security Service of Ukraine were awarded state awards. 2 of them were posthumously awarded the title of Hero of Ukraine. Both distinguished themselves in the battles near Makarov, Kiev region. Thanks to their courageous actions, the enemy headquarters and more than 20 invaders were destroyed. I can't name the names of our heroes. This is the specifics of the service. But I can say with confidence, the memory of them will really be eternal. Today I signed a decree on the awarding of state awards to 63 law enforcement officers of Ukraine. 7 of them were posthumously awarded. Police, rescuers, border guards, Special Operations Forces of the State Bureau of Investigation and members of the Judicial Protection Service. I am grateful to everyone. Over the past week, our heroic armed forces have inflicted powerful blows and significant losses on the enemy. It is said that Russia's defense minister has disappeared somewhere. I wonder if he personally wanted to visit Kornobayevka? I am grateful to our defenders who have shown the invaders that the sea will not be calm for them even when there is no storm. Because there will be fire, as on those Russian ships that set off this week on a well-known route from the port of Berdyansk. I want to warn all traitors of Ukraine who sided with the enemy in the Crimea a few years ago. You sided with them because you thought you would live better, not because you want to repeat the tragic fate of your colleagues who died on those ships or somewhere else on land or at sea in Ukraine. Well, live like that. This means staying away from our cities and our army. The number of Russian casualties in this war has already exceeded 16,000 killed servicemen, including senior commanders. No one has yet reported on the killed Russian colonels, general or admirals, but there is already information about the slain commander of one of the invaders' armies and the deputy commander of the Black Sea Fleet. The armed forces continue to repel enemy attacks in the south of the country, in the Donbass, in the Kharkiv direction, and in the Kiev region. By restraining Russia's actions, our defenders are leading the Russian leadership to a simple and logical idea: we must speak. We need to speak meaningfully, urgently and honestly. And we must speak for the sake of the result, not for the sake of procrastination. 16,000 Russian servicemen have already died. For what? What does it give to whom? The conversation must be serious. Ukrainian sovereignty must be guaranteed. Ukraine's territorial integrity must be ensured. That is, the conditions must be fair. And the Ukrainian people will not accept other conditions. During the week, we managed to set up 18 humanitarian corridors. In total, we rescued 37,606 people from the blocked cities. In particular, we managed to take 26,477 Mariupol residents from Mariupol to Zaporizhia via the humanitarian corridor. The situation in the city remains absolutely tragic. Russian troops do not allow any humanitarian aid into the city. They seem to use the people of Mariupol in productions for their propagandists, portraying that they have begun to distribute humanitarian aid to people. I will continue to inform the peoples of other countries in great detail about such disgusting cynicism of the invaders, about all the war crimes of Russia against the civilians of our heroic city of Mariupol and other cities of Ukraine. It is very important. I want to emphasize that I will inform not only politicians and government officials, but also the peoples. Everyone on the planet needs to know what Russia is doing. That the responsibility for crimes against the Ukrainian people became inevitable and as severe as possible for Russian servicemen. During the week alone, I addressed the parliaments of Italy, Japan, France, and Sweden, before the summits of NATO, the G7, and the leaders of the European Union. Each of these speeches attracted maximum attention in the respective countries and in the world as a whole. The reviews show that the Ukrainian position was heard. And this is my main goal in such speeches. You know perfectly well what a powerful system of state propaganda Russia has built. They have spent and are spending tens of billions of dollars on it. Probably no one in the world has ever spent so much money on lies. But they did not take into account one thing: where the path of lies needs to be paved with money, the result is not guaranteed, and the path of truth is difficult. The path of truth paves itself. The main thing is to be honest. Next week, I will continue this important work for the sake of our interests, the interests of Ukraine, the interests of freedom and independence. I spoke today with Turkish President Erdogan. We discussed the outcome of the NATO summit. Of course, we also talked about the efforts that can bring peace closer to Ukraine and end this senseless Russian invasion of foreign lands. There is important news from our government officials. The first news: they have already started paying pensions in April. In particular, the pension fund transferred to Sberbank the entire amount of pensions for residents of Chernihiv and Luhansk regions. Tomorrow people will have money on bank cards, and Ukrposhta employees will deliver cash. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow the payment of April pensions will continue in other regions of the eastern and central parts of Ukraine. Residents of other regions will receive payments in a few days. This is one of the priorities for us. The Ukrainian state has fulfilled and will fulfill all obligations to our citizens, to our retirees. The second news: under the There Is Support program, we have already paid over 20 billion hryvnias to people who lost their jobs or the opportunity to start a business. The amount of payment is 6,500 hryvnias. The third piece of news is that government officials are preparing a new support program for our IDPs from the war zones. Regional administrations have been given a clear task: to quickly allocate land for the construction of temporary housing for displaced persons. I want to emphasize once again that this is temporary housing. Once we establish peace, we will begin the immediate, large-scale reconstruction of our state. But now people need a temporary home, their own home. And it is better to have a house in Ukraine than somewhere abroad. We pay help, we give work. My people, your country. All the details of this support program will be presented by the Prime Minister of Ukraine, Denis Shmyhal. And I will say a few more words about the path of truth, about those who bring you and us true information about everything that is happening in our country. I would like to especially thank our journalists today. I would like to thank all those who support the National News Marathon United News, all our media workers, correspondents, presenters, editors, media managers, cameramen, directors, editors, makeup artists, producers, all without whom it is impossible to imagine television. I want to thank all those who have united and, together with other defenders of our people, provide Ukrainians with truthful information and, last but not least, confidence. I am grateful to all of you. And I am sure I can thank you from all Ukrainians. Glory to you all. Glory to all our heroes. Glory to Ukraine.